Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. We're going to do the Christmas pudding, figgy pudding, plum pudding, fruitcake, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be good. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I've had an adventure getting here today. And that's always fun to do, right? Have adventures. Have adventures. Let's just move that. So I am going to be doing this fun Christmas pudding. My brain just went dead, you know? Today is the 15th of December, 2020, and it was a journey getting to this spot. I will be playing with some lighting here in just a second because I had to restart the computer and I didn't have to restart the computer. You know, if you turn one button off by accident and you don't know it, it can cause a lot of stress right at the beginning of something. And I'm just going to take a sip of water and get over the stress and say, hello, we've got sound, yay! So I do need to adjust my lighting really quick. I'm sorry that all my friends here had to wait for me to get here. Let's see here. Let's go up on the brightness. I have to get it onto the right screen here. Come on. There we go. A little bit brighter. Not that bright. It's going to go up and down in brightness for a second, guys. I'm just trying to get it to settle in where it belongs. There it goes. And yeah, I've got these weird little, there's this little black thing right here. That's my camera that's above looking down for the portrait style of recording. So that way I don't have to cut this recording and trim everything off. It's already recording it the right direction. And now I can move that. And sorry about the wiggle. Things are actually touching that shouldn't be. And then over here on this side, this is my microphone. You want the microphone. And down here we have our plum pudding, our figgy pudding, our Christmas pudding. And when I drew this on the live stream on November 30th, I didn't have a picture. I was making it up. Well, this morning on Pinterest, look at this. I found a picture that's almost exactly my little pudding. So now I've got a reference. But it's off of somebody's website, so I'm not, and I didn't draw it from theirs, but I'm using it for color. And I think we are going to have to, there's going to be some color weirdness here for a second because I have to take it off of that brightness thing. It keeps going back and forth. So now we're just going to, whoa! Help! Help, I need somebody. Actually, I am the person that people would call when they had help, when they needed help for their tech issues and such. There we go. That's better. We can deal with that. I am going to go ahead and get started here. I want to put a fun background in. I think it's going to be... See, sometimes you have to deal with these little stresses. Don't worry about it. It's all part of getting things done. Whoa, I've got a bit of pink in my brush. I didn't change my water. That's okay. Maybe we'll make this a pretty pink background. But I am going to I'm just getting the background all wet. The background is maybe the background will be Christmas reds with some bokeh. And I'm going to make it kind of a clear jar or clear ornament. So I'm getting the water inside the ball up to there. And we're going to zoom in because thank you, my lovely assistant, my stunt hands, just brought me a fresh cup of water. So I didn't start dipping into my actual drinking water. All right, we're going to go to the top down, close up And I might have to make it not quite so bright so we can actually see that there's color going on. Oh, wow. This is going to be a reddish background. I think it's going to be warm red, pink, purple, blue, whatever. I don't want it to be like a crimson, or, you know, I don't want it to be too weird of a red color. I want it to be a happy color. So magenta. Magenta's a happy color, at least in my world. You're not hearing me? Is the sound doing weird things? I hope not. So this is a happy color, and it's showing a little bit more orange on the camera than it is in real life. So I'm not sure. I'm taking kind of a lighter version. I'm just working it in to the ball and up to that sort of lace around there. What was really funny is that they had it on a cut lace plate, and I had drawn sort of that lace being pushed in. So this kind of a pudding, the steamed pudding, it's like a fruitcake kind of. It's cooked in a bowl that's wrapped in cloth, or the pudding is wrapped in cloth in a bowl and steamed to cook it all the way through, where here in North America we tend to cook our fruitcakes in pans in oven and cook it like a cake. So this pudding, you would scoop it like a spoon, with a spoon, and it would be filled with raisins and nuts, and they would call anything that was basically a dried fruit was a plum. So things were really plummy. They were full of dried fruits. So if you had dried apples, you might have put that in there, but mostly it was filled with sultanas and currants. Sultanas being a type of raisin made from, I think sultanas are made from a goldeny type of grape. I'm not sure. All right. I want to get, let's see, maybe a little bit of the violet. I'm just going to put some little spots of color in. Sort of like confetti, maybe? Ooh, I like that idea. Sort of like confetti. We're just making a lovely abstract-y type of background. It's not going to be too strong. We're going to put some different colors, I think. I like that sort of confetti shape that's happening. It's going to be interesting. There might be some little, I might put some little ball shapes on here too, so it ends up being more bokeh. Let's see. I've got this is actually a magic eraser that I cut, and because I lost the little spongy insert for the Art Sherpa dauber, it's around here somewhere, but I can't find it. So I just cut a piece of magic eraser sponge. I'm going to see if I can. Ooh. Kind of lift out color. Pressing it down. Getting those little balls of light. You know, maybe I should just take it out of the holder. And I can get a little bit harder hold on it, maybe. Look at that. We're going to dry that and see what's going on. Maybe we'll do something else. Figs and dates, if they could get them. Yes, yes. And it's very British. It's a very British dessert. and very much one of those things that you would use what you had on hand. And I like that. Use what you have on hand. Now, I love fruitcake. I might be in that. I'm not in the silent group that loves fruitcake but doesn't say it. Because there are some people, they'll say all kinds of things about, oh, fruitcake, terrible, terrible, terrible. But my mom made the best fruitcake, they'll say. You know, so I happen to like fruitcake. I grew up on it was, what was it, magic fruitcake? The recipe was on the side of a can of sweetened condensed milk. And that was the one that I grew up with, my mom made. And it had mincemeat in it. Usually the jarred mincemeat. Sometimes we'd have to use the box, the condensed mincemeat, and reconstitute it. And there was always a little bit of mincemeat left over, so we'd get to make cookies. Ha ha ha. It works! Look at that! We've got that sort of bubble party going on there. I like that. Now I could take gouache on this and add some lighter circles. Maybe I'll try that. I want to try it. Since I'm not going to do much more to the background, I'm sort of enjoying it the way it is. Getting my sponge ever so slightly damp. Want to make sure that I get the paint on there well enough. And let's just see. I probably should have put more paint out. But I think it'll work. And it's going to give us another version. So let's go to that side view camera. Let's see how that goes. Since I restarted ooh, color's nice today. Never know, it's always a surprise. And if you have different size sponges, different size circles, you can put different size dots. You can even use your sponge like this and make your dots a little bit bigger. Ooh, that one really grew, didn't it? Bokeh is just an effect that happens when you're focused on something close and everything else around it goes out of focus. And lights tend to make these really pretty balls. And if you have you can have a little stencil cut out on that covers your lens. And when you do that, it can, now this is going to look dark, isn't it? Oh, it doesn't look too bad. So there. We've got fun things. But what I was saying is you can put a little cutout, like a little heart or a little Christmas tree. You put it right over the lens of the camera. So all you have is a little heart. And then you focus on something really close up and all of the lights go into hearts or Christmas trees. There's many people online that will show you exactly how to make magical bokeh lights. All right, I'm just moving that paint around while I see it, since I have some on my little sponge still. Just too much fun. Just too much fun. So there we go. Now we've got bokeh light background. I rinsed out my little sponge. I'm going to, let's see here. Yeah, I hopped right into working on this, didn't I? And we'll talk about the design book and stuff like that in a few minutes. I want to get more of this done today. So the actual cake is just really, really, really dark, 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 dark brown. but there's a little bit of highlight, a little bit of lighter brown here and there. I'm going to go ahead and sort of work it around my icing so it can be drying, because I want to do a couple layers of the brown on here. Ooh. So now my fruitcake that I love to make is basically still that sweetened condensed milk, the touch of flour, but I use real dried fruits, you know, healthy dried fruit, and I do still use mincemeat. I get the Caswell mincemeat in the jar. Right now's the time of year that I go and get it, and then I have it for the whole season. I get a couple jars. And I've been also enjoying making, oh yeah, I do need to dry that, I'm sorry. I do enjoy making the kind of like cinnamon buns, but instead of putting butter and cinnamon sugar in it, you put a thin layer of the jarred mincemeat and then roll it up. Oh my gosh. This was the first time I'd done it. I did it this year and just tried it to see how it would go, and it was so yummy. Decided that's probably Christmas morning bread now. Looks like big old snowflakes. Absolutely. So if you're interested in my designs, where I got the designs and how I made them, they are all coming out of my 31 Cute and Creative Hand-Drawn Winter Ornaments book. I did all of the designs in one massive marathon. That was yesterday. And there's today's. One massive marathon of drawing all of these designs, all 31. So there we go. And I've got that up available on Teespring. It's like $6 for the whole downloadable coloring book. You can color in it. You can use them as traceables. You can make banner flags with them. Have fun and enjoy your time playing with holiday stuff. If you don't have a printer, I do have a coloring book with the exact same designs. That's available already pre-printed from Amazon. So, and it's $7. You can get this, see, designed and illustrated by me. So much fun. And also on Teespring, just because I'm going to just share it all, I do have my first set of 9 designs all done as tags, cut out with the backgrounds, and then the cover is all of them set up so you can use them as stickers or as seals, or cut them out in the little rectangles, attach them to a background, and look at how pretty that is as a card. Let's go ahead and zoom out on that. See how pretty that is as a card with just a simple little mat? And that's just a piece of the black sketch pad from Arteza. And I am painting on the originals. So the original drawings that I did, I'm painting on. And that is on 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'm using the inexpensive fan palette that you can get on Amazon from lots of different places. And make sure and try and get it for somewhere between 12 and 15 is sort of the range that I've been finding. And look at that background. Oh, so pretty. So now I will zoom back in. Sorry, had to get that little information out there for you. Congratulations, Bonnie, on making it to winter break. Your boys are all done until the 11th of January. Wow. Oh, because the 11th of January would be the end of the beginning of the new semester, right? So I am going to go ahead. I'm just going to grab a lighter golden warm type of brown. It's sort of a burnt sienna type. I want to get a color in down here so that when I work my darker colors, I have highlights. You have to sort of think backwards when you're working with watercolor. You have to think, what is my lightest color going to be in an area? And try to put that lightest color in first. And I like to just wash it over the whole thing, so that way, if that whole area that it's going to be colored that, so if I happen to miss a spot with my dark colors, it doesn't really matter because it's already got color. All right. So I am going to do my marathon live stream on New Year's Eve. We're going to draw everything that I'm going to be painting, all of my cards that I'm going to paint in January. We're doing cute and whimsical. We're going to do teapots and mugs and cups. And I will be doing different kinds of designs on them. I want to dry this so I can get the next layer on. Yeah, I don't put alcohol on my fruitcake. Just, we always have kids around, or usually have kids around. And, you know, I didn't grow up with alcohol on my fruitcake, so, and I'm not a really big drinker. I mean, I like a little bit of a mulled red wine. My brush is kind of dry, and I sort of picked up my color. You see how it's splitting apart just a little bit? That's helping me get some texture on here, and I'm using really short little strokes. I picked up a bit of the sort of sienna brown, not sienna brown, sepia brown, kind of the sepia brown tone. It's still sort of warmish. It's not a burnt umber. It's not a cool color, a cool brown yet. There will be a little bit of a cool brown in here. There's, you know, some texture, but it's not really a lot. But there'll be like little speckles of some of the dark. And that's what I'm trying to sort of emulate right here. Maybe get a little bit darker right up here under the edge of the icing. So the icing can actually sort of stand out and look dimensional. But yeah, plum pudding, figgy pudding. I mixed up my gingerbread cookie dough last night. I made some, they were supposed to be soft chocolate chip cookies, but I think I overcooked them a little bit, and so they got crispy. But that's one of the tricks or trials when you are gluten-free cooking, is that getting your flour to mimic standard wheat flour can be a challenge, but it always tastes good. So I don't use a rice flour base in my cooking. My son is sensitive to rice, and he breaks out in a rash. So when I'm, especially at the holidays, when I'm cooking, I try to make sure that I'm not using things that will cause people to have skin issues. See how we're just building up layer after layer, building up the color and growing it. Amy is very enthusiastic. I think going through life with that type of an attitude where it's like, hey, you know what? Let's have fun. Let's enjoy things. I mean, what's the alternative? Being a grump? Being, you know, being somebody who just doesn't have any fun. I'd rather be somebody with enthusiasm and joy. I mean, I'm not always Miss Mary Sunshine. I have to admit that yesterday I was having a really, really rough time yesterday evening. My computer, and I think it's all part of what happened with the sound this morning. My computer updated, which, you have to do the critical updates. That's just, if you want to keep your computer safe, you need to do critical updates. But the critical updates don't know what software you run on your computer. And so after I ran the critical update, I had to update my broadcasting software. Well, after I updated my broadcasting software, this camera right here decided it wasn't going to work anymore. It was not going to talk to the program. And I had to update all of the software for the camera also. So I spent 3 hours getting this ready so that I wouldn't be stressed this morning. So and when I first walked in, everything was fine. And I think what happened was I adjusted something on my desk and it moved something. And when it moved something, it bumped a button. And when it bumped a button, it made it so that I didn't have sound anymore. Because I had checked. Honest, I checked. Oh, you see how that's getting that sort of lovely, bready, cakey type of texture? So, yeah, so what I do for my flour mix, I mix my own flour mix. And as long as you don't have problems with potato or nuts, because I use almond flour in my flour mix, but it's just a little bit, and what it does is it boosts the protein without adding milk to the flour. Because some people add milk powder to their flour, to their gluten-free flour mixes. So my flour mix, I work with a scale, and it is 700 grams of a combination of sweet sorghum flour, millet flour, gluten-free oat flour, ground, finely ground almond flour. So it's a combination of those, but it's like 300 of those grams is the sweet sorghum flour, and 70 of those grams is the almond flour, and then the rest, the millet and the oat, fill up the other 275 grams. And then I do a combination of cornstarch, tapioca starch, and potato starch. Not potato flour, potato starch. And that helps give a very, very nice tasting flour, and it's not gritty. I'm picking up some more of that. Oh, and then I also put 30 grams of xanthan gum in the mix, and then I don't add any more xanthan gum when I'm doing my actual baking. And the xanthan gum mimics the gluten to make it so that it sticks together and gives it a little bit of stretch, so that your yeast or baking powder or baking soda, your egg whites, those things have a place to build steam pockets, so you get a nice crumb. So I've been baking since I was a wee little child. Oh, I'm addicted to technology. Thank you. I've been doing technology since I was about 12 years old. So, and I am, my family was early adopters to technology. I'm taking some dark green and putting some dark green in. I kind of like the holly that they have here that has sort of that yellowish edge. But I'm putting the green in first this time. I don't know why. I should have put the yellow in first, maybe. But no. I'm doing it this way this time. Zoom in a little more. Zoom over. There we go. So there we are. You know, I absolutely love this background. It was a spur of the moment. 15 minutes before the show, I was talking to my husband and I said, I don't know what kind of a background I'm doing with this. And he's like, well, you've got 10 minutes to figure it out. And I was like, uh-huh. And I will. I always figure it out. I'm taking a little bit of that Prussian blue with the green to get some shadows down inside here. And this palette of paint has lasted all of this event. This is lasting this whole month. I think it's probably going to last all of next month. So I stayed up really, really late last night, wandering through Pinterest, pinning. And it's January, cozy. I think it's Cozy January. It's a pin board on my Pinterest. If you're interested, go ahead and go check it out, follow it. You'll see a lot of ideas that I've got going in for next month. I was seeing a lot of mugs that people had done the sort of black line work onto them so that they had that feeling of the Zentangle or the doodling. So I'm really excited about that. Yes, I was 7 when I got to make my first loaves of bread. And of course, I made my bread. Everybody was cousins and aunt and uncle and mom and dad and all my sisters. And we went through 3 of the 6 loaves of bread in, one sitting while the bread was still warm. We were slicing off chunks of bread and putting butter all over it. Oh, it's a memory. It's a memory that I cherish. I'm going to grab a little bit of some yellow ochre color. It's this one right here. And put a little touch of that out here on the edges. The reason why is I'm going to be using some of that really watered down to help with my shadows on the icing. We don't put icing on our fruitcake. I know some people will put like a poured hard sauce, which isn't hard, it's soft. That's probably what that is. And a hard sauce just is like butter and sugar and alcohol. Maybe vanilla added to it. Vanilla tended to be the only alcohol that we had in our baked goods when I was a kid. And I think I'm going to use a touch of the red, a little bit more crimsony, darker red. Make those berries really, really red. Just using the very tip of that brush. Let's see if we can go to the side camera and then get that a little bigger. See, maybe I'll roll it so that I can get my tip a little bit pointier. The paint is really thick. And when it's really thick, it's a little bit more opaque. And it also doesn't go doesn't go all over the place. That's sweet. Oh yeah, making things ourselves. I love that. I love making things. And I always have. I'm going to take a little bit of this kind of blackish color, and I'm going to just set it right down there. I want to put a little blue into it, making a soft blue-gray, more bluish, and then adding water to it. So I want to put a little bit of shadow down in the bottoms of these little lacy bits. And you can't even hardly see it, maybe a little bit darker. Yeah, you can kind of see that a little. Putting that in the bottom of the lace where it would be a little shadowy. Pick up a little bit more of that blue. The shadow might not come all the way out to the front on these ones that are aimed towards you. There's some shadow on the inside of the under part. Oh, I like how that's working out. My lace kind of wandered all over the place. My little paper ruffle. This pudding, I wouldn't set this one on fire. I know that's, they would soak it with brandy or, whiskey or whatever they had, and then light it on fire. And it would burn all the alcohol off. Make it even darker for right inside that bit above. Little details. Little details make it feel more real without having to do a lot. Your brain fills in those details. So if you suggest that it's dark underneath of the edge right there, then it says to your brain, oh, that's tucked in underneath of the cake. If it's light, see, I do need to actually right up against the edge of it. Even the bumps that are up need to have a bit of a shadow right next to the cake. Let's go ahead and put that back on the other. Haha, see? Like a magic trick. And that's what I love about this. It's like making magic tricks. I want to dry this right now. Elderberry wine or elderberry syrup? Take care, Amy. Have a nice nap. Elderberry. Yeah, I have heard that elderberry syrup is actually really very good for your, what were they saying? That it's really good for your digestion, and it's almost an antibacterial type of property. I think kind of like honey. Honey is very antibacterial properties also. Yeah, I'm going to have to go make some fruitcake bread. Maybe some fruitcake cookies to have for New Year's Eve also. I am going to do a little bit of a shadow on here, and I don't want it to be too, see, it's a little bit blue-gray, but I want the pudding, or the creamy top here, to have a creaminess to it, a warmth to it. So I think instead of being bright white, we are going to take a little bit of that yellow ochre, like I was talking about, and a lot of water. And be brave. Just sort of wash that in. Kind of like where my shadows are going, I think. And by doing that, I can leave highlights that are brighter white. It gives us that feeling. It keeps it warm. I like that. I like that a lot. I see there's almost a shine on this cake. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna just a few little sort of little specks and flecks, and then soften it. I don't know. Could be a good thing. Could be a, you know, why did I do that? Oh no, that's working. That's working. Yay. See, I've got a few like little cracks and such, so that the highlight would be on the top edge of some of those. And it's really very subtle. You don't have to do this. This is me just being extra details, you know? This is just me wanting to put in a few extra details. There. I like how that's giving us that feeling that there's a little bit of a shine on the bread. Not too much. We need a little bit of some shine up here on these leaves. So I'm just picking up that gouache that we had used for our dots. Putting a little bit of a shine here and there. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Please make sure that you click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are a fun group of people here. We like to chat and enjoy each other's company. This is a safe place to just enjoy creativity. And, you know, if you need help with something, ask your questions. I'd love to help you out. I'm going to pick up a little bit of brown with this. A little bit of brown with the gouache that was on the tip of my brush. I just want to make that stem feel like it's a little bit stronger. Maybe I'll put... No, I want to wash that out. I want to go a little bit darker here in front. I like that yellowy tone on the sauce. I think that worked out really well. Just picking up a little bit of that burnt sienna or burnt umber or sepia or whatever it is. Sepia tone and the Prussian blue, and it does make a lovely warm kind of gray color. Just darker. I want to darken up right underneath the edge of the sauce that's pouring down. Maybe a little bit right here. A little bit more texture. The sauce has been poured on, but it hasn't fallen down the whole thing yet. The person caught it just at the right moment for the photograph, right? Right moment for the picture. And a little bit darker down here at the bottom. I don't really want to highlight right on that edge. I don't mind if there's a bit of highlight showing, but I just don't want it to be too strong of a highlight because it's sort of going down to the bottom where the paper is, that little lace. If you enjoy these videos, make sure that you share them with your friends and share your artwork with me. On Pinterest, you can tag your artwork at Deliberately Creative and I will find it. On Instagram, the same thing. And Facebook, you can tag. And if you are one of my patrons over on Patreon, you can share your artwork on Patreon. And if you are one of my followers over on Tangi, make sure if you do your artwork, because I will be posting this as a 1-minute video over on Tangi, probably tonight, and then you can share your artwork on the Try It button on Tangi. So any of my pictures, any of my artwork that I've done this month, that I have a 1-minute video for on Tangi, please share your artwork on Tangi. That is a great way to build community. And as over on Tangi, you can also direct message and I can reply right back to you in the program. And you can comment on the video on Tangi and leave me questions and I will answer them also. So I'm really liking this. I want to zoom out. Look at that. All right, so what we have here, so that was the photograph that I found today that I had not seen when I started this. Look at that. It's a party in a ball. And show you where we started and where we are. So, look at that. We started here with our lovely basic pudding, steamed pudding, Christmas pudding, and put in this fun background and the Christmas cake. Lots of fun. I really, really am liking that a lot. I think it's time for me to clean my brush, put a little bit more gouache out. I'm trying to think, maybe, before I do that, I think I'm going to take just a little bit of that Prussian blue and water, lots of water there. I want to put a bit of some shadow. I'm going to say this is sort of a blue glass. Need to get a little bit of shadow going on here. So there's a place for the highlight to shine, right? And yep, even though I pulled in, I'm going to leave a little bit of a light off that edge there. I think I might do the same thing over here. That's looking fun. Maybe put a little bit of dark glass behind. A little bit of shadow right behind the leaves. See, we're making this ball now. We're making it feel round. One of the tricks to making something feel round and dimensional is you curve your lines. As you're filling the ball in, you curve these lines, following the shape. Doesn't that feel like it's a round ball when we do that? And you've got, it could be sort of a drippy glass ball. It is a party in a ball, absolutely. And you know, I know that this video probably isn't the one that lots and lots of people are going to watch, but it made me happy to do this. And if you could share it, maybe more people will get to find it. YouTube is kind of a tricky place. Sometimes they will share things out like crazy, and sometimes no. But I really like this. And I don't know if I want to put a super strong highlight on here. Let's take some of the gouache that was down on this board. So I just had a little bit of gouache left from when we did our dots. Sort of a highlight there. Kind of mapping out with very, very, very pale. You're not even going to hardly see it. I think I like that. I want to keep my highlights soft and diffuse this time. So not too strong. I want to water my gouache down quite a bit. So now I'm going to go like this. And go like that. Come across. Maybe a little bit stronger. In a couple spots, but not too much. I don't want to cover up all the work that I did. There we go. I think that. Oh, and a little spot right up there. Maybe a couple little brighter spots right on the edge. Ah, there we go. A little bit brighter right on the edge. Tiny little spots. We're not doing, you know, really big, super bright. There. Oh, that was the one right there. That was the one that went boop and made it feel just. Why wouldn't they want to watch? I don't know. Some people. So we're going to dry it real fast. I love this. I think this Christmas pudding is going to look awesome as a tag. Now I am going to take all of the next 9, so day 10 through 18 is going to be made into my pack, my second pack of tags and card bases, card elements. But holiday gift tags and card elements. There we go. And that will be going up. I'm going to try and have it go up on the 18th. So I'm working on getting all of these preset as I go along. But won't that be a gorgeous little tag? They can also be used as ornaments on a tree. I love this. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It feels really dimensional. And that background just really feels like a party. I need to remember that. That was so fun. And I mean, you saw it. It was so easy. Let's zoom out even farther so you can really see it. I do want to put my initials inside here. Just going to put right up along the lace, kind of tucked in. So, day 15, Doodle Wash, December 2020, was fruitcake. I did a Christmas pudding with a stake of holly inside of a glass ball. I love it. It all came from my 31 cute and creative hand-drawn winter ornaments to print in color that you can download from Teespring. The link is at the top of the chat and linked down below in the more information. The video that I did with all of these will be iCarded up here and is linked down below in the more information. And if you are interested and don't have a printer, go ahead and check out my Amazon. I have the affiliate link down below. All the materials are listed there. And my books, Cute and Creative Winter Ornaments, for you to color. And it's an inexpensive book, so you can cut this book up, tear pages out, use them as decorations in your home. The backs of all of these pages have a light dot grid, so you can actually use it to write notes and things like that for yourself and use it like a little journal book for the month also. You've got 30 pages that you could write on, or 32 pages that you could write on. So there you go. And if you haven't seen it before, I do have my fun floral mandalas. There are 50 designs in this coloring book. It's $7.99 over on Amazon. And lots of detail. And the pages on the backs are blank except for a little tiny thing, because you can't have any blank pages for Amazon books if you want them to have a blank background. I love this one. The little deer sticking up. Just makes me so fun, so happy. And there are some that are tons of detail and some that are not so much detail. Lots of things for people to try. This one with the acorns and the oak leaves is really pretty too. All right, so thank you guys. Remember, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends, and make sure and come back tomorrow when we do, I believe it's the sheep is next. Let's look in this one, because I think I put them in order in this book. Yes, the sheep is next. So my sleepy sheep is tomorrow. So have fun, enjoy your day, do something creative, take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. I want to see you back here again tomorrow.